Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam call today. We are very fortunate we have Her Grace Van Malini Manjari Devidasi Mataji from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And Mataji is going to enlighten us from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, verse number 33 onwards. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. All glory Sri Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. You may take over the call when you are ready.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, and Hare Krishna to all the devotees on the call, and my humble obeisances and with pranams. Thank you all so much, and thank you, Mataji, for the opportunity. We'll start with Mangalacharan prayers, and we'll go into the verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Hare Krishna. So we are reading 8.3.33, which is the last verse in chapter 3, and also the last verse where we see that Gajendra has been rescued by Supreme Lord Hari. Before that, in this chapter, we have seen wonderful praise of Gajendra in his surrenderance to the Lord. Gajendra actually, without mentioning name, offers his prayers, and we see that how the Devi Devatas and all, they do not come for his rescue. And then Lord Hari appears. So we, in the prayers, speaks about the qualities which only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, possesses. So Krishna comes. In one way, the Devatas were also like, Gajendra is asking help of the Supreme, who is above all of us. He did not call us, or he did not praise us, or he did not approach us. So they were like in 8.3.22 and all. So they said, like, let him praise the Supreme Personality of Godhead and let the Lord come and protect. So Lord never gives up on his devotees. Sometimes when we are in difficulties, we may feel that uh, people who have practiced devotion for a longer time also, when the faith and understanding about the Lord and what Lord can do and cannot do, or most of the time we know the Lord, but we don't know completely about the Lord. So the scriptures, the sessions that we regularly have, helps us to understand more and more about the Lord and more about our conditioning also, our situation also. Then, along with our chanting, the faith grows and the un- higher understanding of the material life and what are how the things in the material life are driven. All this will come, and our faith remains unshaken. So initially, the faith is very tender, like how a small tree, when you plant, initially it is very tender. However big the tree might grow into, but initially when it sprouts from the seed, it is very tender. Uh, Even a small deer can spoil the tree. But then when the tree goes big, it becomes strong and it withstands all kind of struggles and all. So until it withstands, we have to take care of the tree very properly. So when we are in a sadhana stage, um, our the protection around the tree is our chanting, our association with devotees, and then our regular hearing and reading. So this acts as a protection around the tender tree where the faith is tender, and when the faith grows, when our bhakti lata bija grows and reaches, we have to take care of it until it reaches the lotus feet of the Lord. So it's not like just one day thing, or like, uh, oh, I today I have conquered all the desires, so I'm set. So I became a devotee. And we should not be neglectful of, we should not neglect. Maya is very strong. She keeps testing us and testing our faith and our devotion. So we have to protect. So people generally have a doubt, but Lord never fails in protecting the devotees. So here Lord Hari comes and gives protection to Gajendra. So this is the verse where Gajendra, Krishna cuts the head of the crocodile and then pulls Gajendra and crocodile out of the water. Not just Gajendra, crocodile is also fortunate here because it could see the face of the Lord directly because it has captured the Gajendra. So, but Gajendra has got liberation because Krishna has touched Gajendra and he got Swarupa Mukti. We will read all those things in the 4th chapter of eighth canto of Srimad Bhagvatam. So, going into this verse, Tam Viksha Peditam Ajah Sahasaya Sahasavatirya Sagrahamasu Sarasa Krupayojjahara Grahad Vipatitamukad Arina Gajendram Sampasyatam Harir Amumuchad Uchirayanam Tam Viksha Peditamajah Sahasavatirya Sagrahamasu Sarasa Krupayojjahara Grahad Vipatitamukad Arina Gajendram Sampasyatam Hariramumuchad Uchirayanam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tam Gajendra Viksha, after seeing in that condition, Peditam, who was aggrieved, Aja, the unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sahasa, of all of a sudden, Avatirya, getting down from the back of Garuda, Sagraham with the crocodile, Asu immediately, Sarasaha from the water, Krupaya out of great mercy, Ujjahara took out Grahat from the crocodile, Vipatita separated, Mukhat from the mouth, Arina with the disc, Gajendra, Sampasyatam, who were looking on, Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Amum, him, Gajendra, Uchat, saved, Uchriyanam, in the presence of all demigods. So all the demigods are watching. So whenever Lord comes down, all the demigods will be waiting to see his pastimes, because even for the demigods, even for the Devi Devtas, it's not that easy to get the darshan of the Lord, because Devi Devtas are in a planet which is in this universe, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is in spiritual world. So they get to see him when he comes down to protect any devotee or to have have his pastimes. Even Lord Brahma, he won't get darshan of the Lord as soon as he desires or he goes and knocks the door, he will get. Most of the times, Krishna talks to Brahma through his mind. He will just hear the Lord. He won't see the Lord. In most of the prayers, if we see even in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagvatam, before Krishna's appearance also, he talks to Brahma through mind. He does not get the darshan. So having darshan of Lord is not that easy for Devi Devtas also. So here, in the presence of all the demigods, Krishna has protected Gajendra. Thereafter, seeing Gajendra in such a aggrieved position, the unborn Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari immediately got down from the back of Garuda by his causeless mercy and pulled the king of the elephants along with the crocodile out of the water. Then, in the presence of all the demigods who were looking on, the Lord severed the crocodile's mouth from its body with his disc. In this way, he saved Gajendra. Pure devotees of the Lord even consider dangers or reversals in life as a mercy of the Lord. Generally, the sincerity, the surrenderance, the restlessness, the helplessness that we have when we have a danger is different than when everything is going good. At that time, we approach the Lord more sincerely and we offer prayers with an undiverted attention. Like our attention will not be going anywhere when we are in a trouble. We just want to come out of that troubles and we will be very focused. When everything is going good, everything is going as planned, and that actually gives us a pride. But here, here, when we are in a danger, the prayers comes very sincerely. So we could see a situation before Gajendra was caught. Gajendra, when we have opulence, when we have a lot of luxury in our life, or when we are very knowledgeable, or when we are having beauty, or a lot of wealth, actually these are impediments for our progress. They are not, if we are not properly Krishna consciousness, and if we are not practicing devotion very seriously and have association of devotees and direction of Guru, generally who has wealth, beauty, name, fame, learned knowledge and all, these actually become our own obstacles to approach the Lord. They don't come in the favor of devotional service. It has been told repeatedly in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, there is a famous verse also. Having them on their own, like some people are born into those families by birth because of the previous punya karma. So that is somehow if we have devotion also, and we have been born into wealthy families also, maybe we have a chance to keep up and progress in our devotion. But if we have attachment towards them, if we are attached to these things, then the progress or um, towards the devotional service is very, very difficult. So the attachments that we have actually becomes our own obstacles in approaching Krishna. See, when we have an attachment, our vision becomes very narrowed. Like we see through the attachments. Like we don't keep our attachments aside and see. Biggest example is Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. They were always attached to the kingdom. So their attachment towards kingdom actually covered their vision towards dharma, covered their vision towards right and wrong. They were not even thinking what they are doing is uh, is a heinous act or not. Like when they pulled Draupadi, or when they tried to kill Dhritarashtra himself, who is supposed to be a father to Pandavas, has become like a biggest demon and tried to kill them. I mean, he may not be really a demon, but he has exhibited those qualities where he was okay to get them killed. So attachments actually um, causes more, make us more go away from our path and make us more hard-hearted. Generally, people think that, oh, you are so detached, your heart is so hard, you're like a stone. But really, the attachment is what makes us. If I am attached to something, an object, and I want that object all the time, then I will only see that object. My heart becomes hard towards everything else. So the attachments actually cause our vision to be narrowed, and attachment to the objects which we think that provide comfort and security actually becomes our own um, obstacles in progressing or in seeing the things right or wrong. So before this session, before the whole pastime start, Gajendra was actually attached to his family, his wealth, his he has such a big family. He has so many wives, so many children, family, riches. And then when he went to the Trikuta mountain, he started enjoying, he started exploiting the nature. So his attachment to his family, his comfort and his security was in family. And we saw how any of the material things cannot give us the shelter. Only Krishna can give us the shelter. So Gajendra's pastime, not just Gajendra's pastime, in Bhagavatam we see how these devotees they approach the Supreme Lord when dangers come in their life. Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. All of them are kings. All of them are like not like no, they don't have any kind of like, oh, I don't have money, so I could not protect myself. So we may be feeling sometimes like that. But here, all these people are kings, and then we could see how that when these troubles have come to them, they they approach the Supreme Lord. They approach the Supreme Lord for protection. So Bhagavatam actually teaches us that any of the material shelters that we have cannot give us an ultimate shelter. Only Krishna can give us that and our devotion. So the situation that we have for Gajendra before um, before the before this whole pastime has started was his attachment to Krishna, his attachment towards his family members, and then he was completely involved in them, and he was seeking security and shelter from them. And then he realized that none of those things are going to protect him. And he understood, and then he remembered the prayers that he has learned in the past life. So attachments actually restrict our thinking, restrict our consciousness, and become our obstacles in our own development towards Krishna. Most of the times we think that I don't need to change, but my circumstances has to change, or the people around me has to change for me to progress in Krishna consciousness. But if we dive deep into what it is actually stopping me from progressing, we will definitely find an attachment towards something material. And then that attachment is what actually is the real blocker than what we are thinking. So it is our responsibility to keep and control these attachments and not extend these attachments beyond the needs. Like there are certain like we cannot give up. Like you have a family, you take care of them. So it requires a lot of spiritual strength and spiritual knowledge to take care of the family with detachment. So we already have attachments towards our family members and all, but on top of it, we add so many other things. We fill our houses with so many things which are not needed. We engage ourselves in so many things which are really not needed. And we are not anyway contributing to that also. Like we are not, that is not even our material job to earn money or anything. But we just go and add on the things, and then we get attached to them after engaging them in for a period of time. We will get attached to those things. So always we have to be very conscious not to increase our attachments. We already have so many attachments and they are pulling us in different directions with strings. On top of it, we should not be adding more and more. We should make our life, we should declutter our life, make it simple so that we are only focusing on the needs, and then we are knowing our boundaries, and then we are we are understanding the goal of the human form of life. And as our age is progressing, we really have to focus on how to dedicate a lot of time for Krishna consciousness, and how I motivate myself, how I find that eagerness, how I increase my eagerness to serve, how I will be enthusiastic. So we have to keep exploring that. And we all have this exploring nature, but we does that in the material enjoyments. We just have to shift that focus to the spiritual, and we have to do that. So here we see that Gajendra was attached to his family members, and then he was completely intoxicated in that situation, and then he was caught by crocodile, like Maya, even our situation also. And then he remembered the prayers he has done in his past life, which has come to his rescue. So thereafter, seeing Gajendra in such aggrieved position, the unborn supreme personality of Godhead just sorry for the interruption. Thereafter, seeing Gajendra in such an aggrieved position, the unborn supreme personality of Godhead, Hari, immediately got down from the back of Garuda by his causeless mercy and pulled the king of elephants along with crocodile out of water. Then, in presence of all demigods who were looking on the Lord, severed the crocodile's mouth from its body with his disc. In this way, he saved Gajendra, the elephant of king of the elephants. So Gajendra was saved. Krishna cut with his disc crocodile's mouth, and he pulled Gajendra's body from crocodile's mouth. So since Krishna, whoever gets touched by Krishna gets Swarupa Mukti. So Gajendra got Swarupa Mukti. So there are so many lessons that we can learn from Gajendra's pastime. So Gajendra's pastime is a example, like how the spiritual journey from the past life, how meditation on a mantra in the past life can help us in our future lives also. So it's just not chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and it is just not for this life. It is forever. So Gajendra, we all know that details are also going to come in the next chapter. Indradumya, he's a king in his past life. Indradumya. I only briefly tell because in future, whoever is going to talk on those verses are going to speak. So he leaves everything. He goes to practice tapasya, and then Agastya Muni come to his ashram, and he does not invite him properly or take care of him properly, and he was cursed to become an elephant. So his body was elephant body. Generally, the consciousness in the elephant body is not as it is now for Gajendra. Gajendra is having a elephant body, but his consciousness is a human consciousness. So this itself shows to us that the devotion that is practiced in the previous life has uh, continues, and it, like how the punya and papa gets diminished when we are suffering or enjoying. Devotion is not like that. So some may have devotion practiced at the up to 90% in their previous life, and in this life they may be enjoying whatever the little attachments they have in their previous life until they are 40 or 50, and then suddenly a devotee reminds them about Krishna consciousness, and they may become a pure devotee and complete that 10% in this lifetime itself. So we don't know to what extent a devotee was practicing his devotional service in the previous life, and when and how the things can change. So, devotional service, we should not wait for a perfect time or a perfect situation to practice it. This is the biggest obstacle for many people. They say that if I do something, I have to do it very perfectly, focusedly, and then I don't want to give up. Once I start doing, I don't want to stop it. So I will wait until that time when my responsibilities are over in the material life, or when my mind gets settled down. Right now I'm focusing on getting a promotion, I'm focusing on building a house, I'm focusing on something or the other, I'm focusing on raising the children, I'm focusing on this, that. We give 100 examples of where our focus is and how we will not be able to focus on our devotional service and why we are not serious. But we don't know how much time we have left, and we also don't know that the devotional service, even in a month you practice one day, it is going to increase and it is going to stay there, and you will practice from there in the next month. Like, let's say these numbers are just for understanding, they are not like any practical. So we have practiced for 1 month, chanted, and then listened and understood some philosophical concepts, and then we purified ourselves. Of 1 month we are very good, no last anger, greed and all, and we practiced those things, and then for some reason we could not practice after 1 month. So our devotional service might have increased to 20 to 25%. Just for example, don't quote me on this. It is just for an example. And then it stays there. It doesn't go away. Even if I leave my body next month, it starts from there. If that kind of an advantage is there, eternity is there in practicing devotional service, we should use it every minute and every second. So today I got 10 minutes, I'll practice, I'll chant. Today I got 15 minutes, I'll go and read. So we will practice whenever we have, because it is not going to go away, it is going to stay for eternity. So here, the spiritual practices that we do in our life are going to leave an impression, and then we are going to carry it to our next life. And no other pastime can be a good example than this pastime. where Gajendra was in an animal body, but his consciousness was not limited to the animal body. His consciousness is to human body. And then he remembers a prayer that he has practiced in his past life. And then he starts offering. So human bodies are capable always of asking questions because we have a developed consciousness. We should not put all our energy, all our consciousness, all our intelligence in just eating, mating, sleeping, and defending ourselves. Animals do that very efficiently. They are very intelligently. Even a monkey, we see sometimes some videos how a monkey protects, how an elephant protects its children, and how it defends, how it feeds. So the intelligence to do these four things, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, even animals have. So we don't need to prove anything in this human body, how efficiently we can enjoy eating, how efficiently we can enjoy sleeping, how efficiently we can enjoy mating, how efficiently we can do all those things. That is not the whole purpose of the human form of life. That is not the goal of human form of life at all. The more we indulge in those things and we increase the comforts of these four, we get more attached to the body. The bodily consciousness grows, and then we completely forget the whole purpose of the higher consciousness that was given to us in the human form of life, where we can put these questions: why and how? Why it is like this? What is the whole point of my existence? Is there any special purpose for my existence? Is my existence only to make my husband, wife, children, family members happy by earning, by taking care? Or is it more than that? If this is what I should be finding happiness, then why I am not finding happiness when I'm doing my best towards all these things? So the happiness that I am searching for is not found in these things. I'm getting disappointed one day or the other. There is no single person who said that by just doing these things they are happy all the time. That means I'm searching for happiness in a wrong place. Seeking happiness, hankering for happiness is the nature of the soul. And then I am finding that happiness in wrong places instead of finding it in the Supreme Lord, with whom I am attached, with whom I have a relationship eternally. And I'm not engaging in there. I'm killing my soul every day and making my body survive. The day that we did not chant, the day we did not think, we did not read the scriptures, we killed the soul. So that human form of life has this advantage of asking these questions. And we could clearly see that practicing Krishna consciousness is the whole purpose and goal of the human form of life. Finding who we are, that is the real knowledge. Finding that we are the spirit soul and we are not the matter is the real knowledge. And practicing Krishna consciousness, how much ever we can, sincerely, is very, very important, because the past spiritual practice can manifest in our future lives. And sometimes this, when life gives us a crisis, we will automatically remember these practices. So let us not worry about our conditionings or our things, and let's practice as much as we can, so that our consciousness remains at the human level, whatever the body that we take, like for how Gajendra. So born into a spiritual family can help us align these things, but we don't know our, if we have left, we are having any kind of enjoyments that are left, then we may be born into a different family. So spiritual consciousness, let us all try to increase our spiritual consciousness, the which we can carry with us to the next life. So this is the um, this pastime tells how the mantra which Indradumya Maharaj has practiced in his previous life has helped him to has come to his rescue at the time of crisis, not any of his material things. And the first thing we see how his attachment to the material families has blinded him, and he started exploiting the situations And then none of those attachments has really given him protection. And we saw how the spiritual practice that he has in his previous life has come to his rescue. So, and we also saw how different kings in Srimad Bhagavatam has taken shelter of Krishna at the time of crisis. So the many of us may be wondering, like, what is the use of explaining extensively about the property and power of Gajendra, and the long nature of his struggle with the crocodile? They are they are emphasizing us that sometimes we may be thinking that many relatives, many friends, all these things are our power to protect us from our crisis, or the wealth that is our power to protect us from crisis. So that's why we spend a lot of time on maintaining these things. Even though we are getting enough wealth to maintain our family, nobody says no when anybody approaches them to there is an option to increase more wealth. You want to do, it's just that you have to spend more time, and we easily give our time to them, and then we engage ourselves in that because we think that the prosperity, the material prosperity, the material wealth is actually is going to rescue us. No doubt we need it. We need it for maintaining our bodies. It's not that we can just give up on earning and become lazy and depend on others or anything. We need money, but we should know where to draw the line. The most important thing is the time, which we cannot buy back. How much our prosperity we have, not even a second we can get back. So then we need to understand that time is more valuable than money. And if we have enough sources to get wealth, to maintain the body and uh, soul together, and our family needs are catered, then we don't need to spend a lot of time and energy in in accumulating the wealth for our future generations. We don't need to do that actually. We have to take care of ourselves. That's when we are crossing the boundary and we are not really thinking about ourselves. We are thinking that I'm thinking about my family and grandchildren and I'm thinking about myself, but that is not the real self. The body is not the real self. Soul is the real self. So we need to think of the soul. If we are actually thinking of the real self of our family members, then we will also engage them in Krishna consciousness. We live a life of Krishna consciousness and show that to the others, that living a life of Krishna consciousness, having a spiritual practice, taking shelter of Krishna is very, very important. So the number of wives he has, the character that he has, all these things, we don't need to dive into the details of that. It is showing the focus that even though we have all these things, the most important thing is have reviving our relationship with Krishna, and how Krishna reciprocates and gives shelter to the devotees. So we see that most of the places, the deities are in a standing position. Only in very few places, uh, the deities are in a different situation. So actually, some of the acharyas say that it is Krishna is always ready to come and run and give us rescue. Like a mother, if a child is playing or anything, and if she knows that there is a danger there, she won't like sit back and wait for the call to come and go and protect. She will be standing around there, like you might have seen in the parks and all, how the parents who want to give protection to the children, they stand very close by, like so that they can give protection immediately. So that is the case with uh, Krishna also. So he is always in a standing position, always ready to give us the protection, always ready to give us the protection. So will be always ready, but most of the times we don't approach him. That's the uh, biggest problem. But as soon as we approach him, Krishna gives the protection. So the here we could see how Krishna has given the protection to Gajendra. And that is one lesson that we can learn from Gajendra's pastime, that the spiritual practice will continue, and the time that we invest, we should be investing on those spiritual practice when we have enough time for maintaining our body. It's not that we completely give up on that and depend on somebody else for maintaining, but we need to have enough, and then we should do. And another lesson that we can see is how Indradumya was cursed by Agastya Muni. Similarly, the crocodile was also cursed. So the curses that are given by saintly people, they are not, it looks externally that they are very hurting or bad, but they are actually gives us the highest benefit. Like when Narada curses the Nalakuvera and Manigriva also, they get to uh, see Krishna face to face. So here also we could see that the curse that was given to Gajendra or the crocodile, who is Hu Gandharva. He is a Gandharva in his previous life, Hu, and King Indradumya in his previous life, has actually made them meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Externally, it looks like, oh, it's a curse, and I'm so unfortunate that I have a curse, but it really that curse actually become a boon for them. So when pure curse or chastise us, it's actually for our own benefit. So it does not really it's not really a curse. That is another thing that we can see. So associating with devotees and learning from them, and when senior devotees or pure devotees, they tell us something, not like when they tell us to do something related to Krishna consciousness, when they tell us that, oh, nowadays I'm seeing that you are not practicing so much, you're getting involved in material things. Can you please focus more on your chanting, focus on reading or something or the other? They give us suggestions when we go and ask, when we go and meet. So that should be our inquiry. When we meet any guru or any senior devotee or any Siksha guru, we should not be talking about the material things there. We should be mostly listening to them and asking them our struggles in practicing the Krishna consciousness. First of all, we have to identify that we have a struggle in practicing Krishna consciousness. Most of the times we think that, oh, I'm chanting my 16 rounds, I'm eating prasadam, I'm doing my regular services in the temple, and on top of it, whatever the little time I have, I'm engaging in the material things. So I'm okay. There is no need for me to, I don't have any problem. There is always a room for improvement in spiritual practice, because we have to go to that stage where we will be anyabhilashita sunyam. We don't have any other desire other than serving Krishna. So that is the purest and highest stage of devotion. So that is the stage that we need to aim for when we have a human form of life. So there is always a room for growing, and we should not cover our attachments to the material things by thinking that, oh, I'm doing a nice practice of Krishna consciousness and I can use all these things in Krishna's service, so I can enjoy this little bit of enjoyment. That is okay. So when there is a small hole in the boat, water starts entering into the boat. Initially it looks like only little water, and then I can pull this water away, and then I can manage. But when if a little bit of negligence also makes that water come a lot, and um, it can make the boat sink. So we need to cover it when it is small itself. If we are serious about Krishna consciousness, if we are serious about our spiritual life, if we are not serious about our spiritual life, then it is okay. When you are taking when if we are taking the
if we are taking chanting of the holy names of the Lord, or engaging in any spiritual activities as a religious activity or as a fruitive activity to get some punya, then that is okay. We'll get punya. We don't get bhakti. So, but we have to be very clear and sincere, and we have to differentiate what I am doing with what intention. Whether I am doing this as a devotion to the Lord or as a punya, because both look outside externally same. The people who are doing service to Krishna as a punya and the people who are doing service to Krishna as a devotion, externally it looks the same. They are very dedicated, they will do with lot of focus, concentrated mind, and the acts are also same. They are also making garland and giving it to Krishna. They are also cooking prasadam and giving it to Krishna. Both are same, but the subtle difference is in our intention. Subtle difference is in our intention, whether I'm doing it for my own sense gratification to acquire punya, or whether I'm doing it for the pleasure of the Lord as a devotion, as a pure devotee. That makes the difference, and that makes it to go into different baskets. So when we are doing it as a punya, it goes into fruitive activity, which gives us the material enjoyments. But when we are doing it as a pure devotion for the pleasure of the Lord, that same act helps us to purify our mind, helps us to go closer to Krishna, revive our relationship with Krishna, helps us to realize that we are soul. So this intentionally, consciously, all the time when we are engaging in Krishna's service, we should keep Krishna as the center, and we should say that we are doing it for the pleasure of the Krishna. And then it becomes devotion. Otherwise, it becomes just a fruitive activity. So we have to make use of the human form of life and do this. So when we are performing our dharma, like as a gruhastha or as a vanaprastha or as a sannyasi. So it helps us to it helps us to progress also. Like, it's not that we give up all our responsibilities, we give up all our roles as parents or children or sister or brother. All these things we have to do, but we have to go beyond those also. We have to go beyond those and also practice our eternal dharma, which is engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness. So we have to do that also. And when we do that, that practice helps us later. Like all these pure devotees of the Lord, when they have crisis, they never blamed Krishna for that. They used that crisis as an opportunity to grow closer to Krishna. And then they by doing so, they have attained the pure love of Krishna, and they have attained liberation. So even in our life, when reversals come, challenges come, most of them may be driven by the karma that we have done in the previous life. And we just, if we think like that and we suffer those things, we may have an acceptance towards our sufferings and reversals, and then we may go through them, but we will not raise in any way in the spiritual consciousness. So we have to help ourselves, and then we have to transcend this karma, and we have to think that the ultimate dharma is to know who, ultimate dharma is to render service to Krishna. So in any situation, I will not forget that. I will go beyond karma and towards Krishna. In any situation, especially in crisis, it becomes very difficult. And if we can remember that in crisis, the crisis help us to get closer to Krishna. The same conditioning that we have in the human body will help us to go towards Krishna. And the same conditioning, if we don't go beyond karma, can make us go into a comfort zone and uh, become even more and more conditioning. So always the intelligence has to guide us, and we have to take a right decision. So for that, we need association of devotees. For that, we need and we need to listen to all these pastimes. So Gajendra's pastime, if he has stopped at the time when he was asking, he has fought for 1,000 years with crocodile. And then he was looking initially for help from the nearby family members, wives and all. And he did not get the help. And he was struggling on his own to come out of the crocodile. Then also that didn't work. And then he did not give up there. He started thinking, what else I can do? What is that I can do? And then when he started thinking like that, the spiritual practice that he has in a previous life came into his rescue. So there will be always in our life also, like, we struggle to go out of a crisis or a challenging situation. And then once we do what we can do, like when you are in a trouble, when our car broke down, for example, we should not just sit down and chant. We say that, oh, car broke down, I have to take shelter of Krishna right now, so I'm going to just sit in the car and I will chant. We have to do whatever is needed. Like, we have to call the person who can come and fix the car, and there is a wait, let's say in an hour or a wait there for us to wait for our car to get towed or to get a help. Generally what we do in that 1 hour is like, if there are any family members in the car because of whom the car has broke down or something, we'll get into discussion and we'll start blaming who is responsible for this situation, who is responsible for the problem. And then we start focusing more and more on the problem rather than focusing on the solution. So we focus on the problem and we start dwelling into that problem. So when we have that time where we can where we have to wait, when we are waiting, when we have done what is supposed to be done, then we should move towards practicing Krishna. So how we respond to our crisis through devotion is very, very important. So after doing whatever is in our hand, we should stop worrying. We should stop blaming either our karma or blaming somebody else or blaming anything or blaming Krishna. People go to that extent also and blame Krishna. So we should stop all those things and we should transcend the karma and we should focus on practicing our devotional service. That is how we react to the crisis. So Gajendra did the same thing. Gajendra realized that nothing here is going, now whatever he thought can help him, then Gajendra immediately took shelter, and in that difficult situation, he remembered, and then he overcome all his things, and he completely surrendered to Krishna. He used that opportunity to completely surrender to Krishna, because anyway, there is nothing else he can do. He has done whatever he has to do to protect himself. Now, there are only two things. The mind has capacity to worry, and the mind has capacity to meditate. These two capacities are there for every one of us. If we have a capacity to worry, we also have a capacity to meditate. The choice is ours, whether we will use our mind to meditate or whether we use our mind to worry. So when we have an ability to worry, we have an ability to meditate. But who makes that choice? We have to make that choice. As a soul, we have to make that choice. He was completely alone in that situation. He could not take help of anybody. There was nobody, even though he has thousands of wives, family members, all of them, but they were all just could watch from outside only. They could not do anything more. So he was completely alone in that situation. And when he is completely alone in that situation, he completely took shelter of Krishna. So those alone situations, what we do when we are alone, we worry, we blame others that, oh, I became alone. There is nobody for me. So that actually, instead of doing that, instead of worrying that there is nobody for me, and focusing on those unhealthy dependencies in our life, See, when we become old, we may be thinking that our children are going to help us, or when we are small, somebody else is going to help us. These are all unhealthy dependencies. That was proven in Gajendra's case, that they are not going to help in all situations. And what generally many people do, many people worry about those unhealthy dependencies and think that they don't have anybody to take care. This loneliness or this aloneness that which Gajendra had actually can help us to depend on Krishna. Complete dependence on Krishna, because we don't have anybody else at this situation. And instead of worrying in those situations, if we can guide our mind and help us to focus on Krishna and get that eternal dependence, or if we can get that shelter from him, from the material shelter to the Krishna's supreme shelter, then we are set. So all the time what we do, like if we are in if we are left out in any situation by anybody, we will worry that they did not invite us, they did not call us, they did not care us. But we should be feeling happy that I will use this loneliness, or I will use this aloneness to focus on Krishna. Now I got time. Maybe if I have gone there, I will not have time to practice Krishna consciousness. Now I have time. Time is something which is not in our control. Generally, we waste a lot of time thinking that we have a lot of time, but we don't have time. Time is more precious than anything else, and we have to spend it wisely. And the reversals, the crisis, the loneliness that we have, like how Gajendra was alone, he has to fight for himself in that situation. And in that situation, he completely surrendered. He took shelter of Krishna. He prayed, and those prayers came for him. Those prayers are not the prayers that he has practiced in this animal life. That is his spiritual practice from the previous life, which has come. So it tells us that the importance of spiritual practice in this life, in whatever situation we are, because that is going to help us in our future lives also. If we did not, get ourselves out of this. So all these wonderful lessons that we can learn from Gajendra's pastime, because the story of Gajendra, story of Dhruva Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj, all these shows us how we can take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, completely depend on him, have complete faith, and then he will help us. He not only takes care of our material requirements, but he will also do things that are going to benefit to our soul also. And Krishna says in 9th chapter, Ananyas chintayanto mam ejana paryupasate, whoever is always engaged in my service, I will not only I will protect what they have, and then I will give what they lack. So when Krishna says, I'll give what they lack, that is for also the spiritual progress. So Krishna is going to take care. We don't need to worry. We have to have, Krishna is promising in that sloka that I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to protect what you have, and I'm going to give you what you lack. He did not say there that he's only going to do that for the spiritual things. That means he's going to take care of our material necessities also. We don't need to waste all our time and use in doing on our own. If we know how to depend on Krishna, and if we know the importance of the human form of life, we will use our time wisely and do the needful and leave rest on Krishna, because Krishna is going to take care of it. And we focus on practicing our chanting, listening to our scriptures and all. So this wonderful verse here, we can see how Krishna came runningly to Gajendra on back of his Garuda. In Bhagavatam, in my own language, there is a Bhagavatam has been translated by few devotees in their own words. Like there is one in down south, Narayaniyam. In that also, Bhagavatam, all the pastimes. He has written that that devotee, he was blind actually. So he was blind, and he used to go to Guruvayur temple in south, and he used to pray. And then he realizes the whole Bhagavatam, and he writes for every pastime. For every pastime in Bhagavatam, he writes 10 verses. And then he visualizes, he realizes Krishna, and he writes. In the same way, in my language also, a devotee has written the whole Bhagavatam. From the original Bhagavatam, he wrote poems of the original Bhagavatam in his own words. In that, he realizes that, how Krishna came to protect Gajendra. He said that he came running from his Vaikunta, from his Golok Vrindavan. He ran so fast on Garuda that, because when Krishna runs, when Hari runs, all his paraphernalia has to come. So Garuda was like, wait, I am coming. You are running. I will take you wherever you want to go. You want to go and protect your devotee, I'm going to take you. So Garuda came running. And when Krishna comes, Lakshmi Devi also comes. Like that, everybody started running behind Krishna for the protection of Gajendra. So Krishna is always ready, runningly ready to give protection to his devotees. So we don't need to worry, or we don't need to have less faith in any situation. The only thing that we need to understand, that I'm spending a lot of time on my material shelters, material dependencies, thinking that they are sufficient for me to protect me, but they are not. This Gajendra pastime is proving to that. And then I will shift my focus towards Krishna. I will shift my spending of my time towards Krishna. So that's the biggest take home that we can take, all of us. And then when we are in crisis, where we don't think, where we are not able to focus, where our faith is dwindling, we can take those Gajenda's prayers, read the meaning of the prayers, and then chant those verses in the same situation as Gajendra was helpless. And then that will give us a direction, that will help us. So I would like to stop here. I only took one verse. From tomorrow onwards, you all will see how Gajendra was rescued, who is Gajendra in his previous life, who is crocodile in his previous life. The crocodile has got back his Gandharva body. He did not get liberated. He just got his Gandharva body back, but he is very fortunate because he has seen Krishna face to face. And Gajendra got a Swarupa Mukti, same body as Krishna, and he went back to spiritual world. And we also see that how sometimes the curses are not really curses. They are actually benedictions for us. They help us go forward. So in the same way, the reversals, the challenges in our life are not really obstacles. If we can go beyond those and transcend those, we can see how we can take shelter of Krishna and our chanting with Guru's mercy and Krishna's mercy.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for a very nice class. So many points are there. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice relation, good reminder for me, definitely. I don't have any question, but I will ask you devotees if you have any question, any relation you want to share.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. What a powerful class, Mataji. Every point you said, I need to note it down. Like extremely powerful, to the point class. Thank you so much. Mataji, one thing popped up in my mind when you said that um, when we are praying, we can either, we have to be clear if we are praying for certain thing or we are praying for pleasure of Krishna. But Mataji, sometimes we just pray because, like when we were growing up, we prayed because our parents made us pray. And even now, it so happens that, like, let's say we are doing a satsang, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna beg devotees to, please pray that Krishna blesses me with this. But when that time comes, or like when we are going to temple, we are blank because we are not doing it either to please Krishna or to gain anything. What happens in that situation, Mataji? Or should we purposely try to remind ourselves, okay, I'm doing this because I'm pleasing Krishna? Like many times it happens, right?
I mean,
So
it's not like explicitly or literally. Like, if we are not asking for any material benefits, if we are going there, and like, we all have to be present in that moment into the temple. Like, when we go and sit in the temple, when we are seeing the deity. So you observe the deity. You pray your. There is a structure for prayers. Like initially, there is a structure like we go and we say the verses in appreciation of the Lord. So we so either that appreciation could be like how beautiful the Lord is, or how omnipotent the Lord is, how Lord, showing our gratitude to the Lord, like what we are today. I went to the temple and I'm able to sit in front of the Lord. I'm able to breathe. I'm able to speak. I'm able to think. It is all mercy of Krishna. Mercy of Krishna so much in our lives, because nothing is in, we don't know how our body is working inside. It's all Krishna who is making the things work so silently. It's all Krishna's energies that are working in this material world. The house I'm living, the trees that from which I'm breathing. So the first approach, we have to do that consciously every time we go to the temple, because there Krishna is present. They are not just temples, they are not just stones, they are not just things. There Krishna is there. Then when you are going and meeting a person, let's say a big person, you prepare how to talk to him before, right? Like what I'm going to talk, what I'm going to do, what should I say, what should not I say. So even going to temple, the enthusiasm and the eagerness should be in us that I'm going to go and see Krishna. So the first thing we should do is like keeping everything aside, going and sitting in front of Krishna, paying our obeisances to him, and then sitting down and calming our mind, which goes on like so many things. Like let's say, oh, I have to go and give this prasadam to there. I have to go and meet this person in the temple. I have to do that. I have to do that. Calm our mind and just look at Krishna there. Sit down there from lotus feet to the top. Look at Krishna and be thankful to Krishna. Say the prayers that we have learned, any prayers that we know, Gajendra prayers, or even simple prayer. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandho, Jagatpate Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostate. That one line has so much. Most of the times I just say that and sit down. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, ocean of mercy, my Lord. I am so unclean with so much impurities I am, but you help me to chant. You are doing things in my life. We ourselves see Krishna's mercy. Karuna Sindhu, Deena Bandhu, who take care of those who cannot take care of themselves. And I'm in that situation. Like that, when we talk to Krishna, or you can just talk to him, whatever is happening in your life. It could be a material thing. Krishna, I'm like so much involved in this thing. I'm getting attracted towards things. Talk to him. Appreciate him. First pray to him by appreciations, and then talk to him. Develop that relationship with him. Sit down and talk to him. Feel his presence, calming your mind, and that I am only going to talk to Krishna. And then we can pray whatever we want. So prayers, when we are doing this, should be our mood initially until it becomes an habit to us. The thing that I said is like many people do things like donations or like cooking or a service that they do. They do it because that is good for them. That's what I mean. Like when they donate or when they come and do, oh, it's a lot of punya, I'll come and do. So when we do with that intention that it is lot of punya for me, it is going to help me and my family members, then it goes into the punya account, but not bhakti. So that's what I was saying. So all the time, anything that we are doing, cooking or giving a donation or cleaning a temple or doing a volunteering service or anything that we are doing, Krishna, I'm doing this for your pleasure. Or you don't need to, you may not be having that consciousness all the time. We can have that consciousness in the beginning of the act, like sankalpa, we say, right? Krishna, I'm going to engage myself in this service for your pleasure. And at the end also, we can say, Krishna Arpadamastu. Krishna, I'm offering this service to you for your pleasure. So if that mood we have is enough, and that we have to make a practice. Literally, we have to make a practice. I have seen many priests who do this. And even if you see in Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, that's what they say. They offer it everything to Krishna. They don't keep in their bucket because it may become punya. So we have to practice this initially, consciously, sitting down and doing that, or we can write it down if we are forgetting or something. And then initially, when I learned this is how you approach deities, I practiced consciously. There are so many things for many of us may not come voluntarily because we may not be at that level of a devotion where spontaneous devotion comes to us. then we have to practice. When we hear this, we have to practice. Every year, every month, every Damodar month, you can keep those kind of bookmarks like, okay, Radhashtami, Gauri Purnima, Krishnashtami, Damodar month. I will make myself a new spiritual habit. And then if we start doing that and practicing that whole year, then it becomes natural for us. And uh, if we are becoming blank in front of the devotees, in front of the deities, then we can write it down, remind ourselves what we want to do, or take some prayers in your hand and say that I'm going to sit down in front of the deities and I'm going to chant these prayers for 5 minutes. If you don't have time, whatever time you have, in that time you can do that and read the meaning of the prayer before, and then you just sit down and chant those prayers. Because you have read the meaning, we will have that bhava also in us, and we will offer those prayers to Krishna. And then we talk to him. If you don't remember the prayers, you can just simply talk to him also. Simply talk, saying, Krishna, you're so merciful. Krishna, make me chant. Krishna. So we can glorify him first. How his energies, whatever way you want to glorify him, you glorify him. And then you talk to him, what's happening in your life. And then there are so many places where people talk to the deities actually. In some of the temples in South India, they go and sit down in front of the deities, the priests, and they tell the deities what is happening, what they are going to do service today, what kind of services they are going to do, and they ask Krishna that, Krishna, I'm going to do this service. Please enable me to do this service. Because none of us have a power, like how Brahma, in the beginning of the creation, Brahma prays to Krishna saying that you have given me this responsibility, but you only give me intelligence, you only enable me to do this, you only empower me to do this. So similarly we can talk to Krishna. That way you will develop a relationship with Krishna, and you will start doing more and more things for the pleasure of the Krishna rather than as a punya. The subtle difference is going to make a big difference in our devotional life. Because the more we do it as a punya, the more we get entangled. So we have to do it as a devotion to the Lord.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for such nice, wonderful explanation. Many prostrated Dandavat pranams at your lotus feet, Mataji, for such a wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for this really beautiful and such a practical and helpful class for us. I just wanted to emphasize here, or ask you rather, that this is basically a mind shift from moving from punya to, bhakti, pleasing the Lord, is a mind shift basically. The action won't change, but just mentally we have to change our thinking, right?
Yeah,
And remembering it every time.
yeah. It is all, yeah, it's an intention shift, like, I'm doing for the pleasure of the Lord.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that shift brings a lot of change in us, actually. Not a small change. So if we are doing for the pleasure of the Lord, so let's say you are making a garland, but that's not coming up so nicely. So somebody came who is very expert in making garland. So they said that, oh, I know how to do it efficiently. Can I do? Then you will immediately give them and help them. Like I say, okay, I also want to engage in service because we are doing it for Krishna. You do a better garland than me. I'm very happy that you are doing, but can I also help you? And you will start giving the flowers to them, and they will make the garland, and you will put the garland, and you will feel happy. But if it is a punya, we don't like to share it with anybody, right? Because I'm doing it for my punya. So if I'm sharing, the punya gets shared. So sometimes people, they say like, let me do, let me only do, even though they are like, there is somebody who is better than, but we feel like, oh, only I have to do because this is punya that I'm holding on.
Yes, that's true, Mataji. It is so common. I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that when we do for Krishna's pleasure, that shift happens. That mind shift also purifies our heart. And then, oh, very nice. Go ahead, please go ahead and do. I will help you. I'll help you to do it. And Krishna Krishna does not look at the first person who is doing the service. Krishna looks at the last person who is helping this person to do the service. Dasanudasa, dasanudasa. His eyes goes there, actually. I mean, it's not that he's not seeing the first person. He's seeing the first person also. But the last person is not neglected at all. People worry that I have to be in the front line. Krishna may neglect me. No. Even if we are in behind, somewhere, unknown place, and if we are engaged in service for the pleasure of Krishna, Krishna's attention comes there. He can see anything, right, from anywhere.
Thank you, Mataji. So here we've actually got two. We please Krishna in many ways. We've lessened our ego, and we've helped somebody, and we please the Lord. So thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful prosperity and the wonderful lessons from Gajendra Moksha. Mataji, my question is, Gajendra was Indrayumna Maharaj who's a great devotee of the Lord, and he was cursed by Agastya Rishi just because he didn't give attention to him, and he was meditating. And so what like future do we have? We also may be offending devotees unknowingly and getting animal body. Not that I am anywhere close to Indrayumna Maharaj, but even the great Indrayumna Maharaj who established Jagannath Puri is going through an animal body and having to go through all this pain for thousands of years to finally meet the Lord. So, it's very discouraging to see that a great devotee like that is going through all this pain. So how can we understand that, Madhuri? Hare Krishna.
So we always have to be alert of Maya. I was not I'm not remembering the exact statement, but then once Prabhupada was praying and some devotee asked, "What are you praying for?" or something like that. Then Prabhupada said, I'm praying that, Maya, to protect myself from Maya. So all of us are also actually have to be afraid of Maya, because she tests us where we are and whether we have those etiquettes all the time, that humbleness all the time or not. So the only solution for us right now is, like, instead of thinking what kind of an offense I can do and what kind of a afterlife I will have, instead of that, we will give that responsibility also to Krishna, like saying that, Krishna, I'm not smart, I'm not intelligent, I'm not still a pure devotee. Help me, guide me, give me right intelligence at the right time. So when we are praying to Krishna, our mind goes to 100 ways. Instead of that, we have to pray to Krishna all these things, like, Krishna, help me to protect myself from Maya, help me to help me so that I don't do any offenses. Krishna, please give me that intelligence, please give me that presence of mind at that point of time. Please be my guide and friend and philosopher. Please be with me. So when we are constantly doing our sadhana and praying and asking Krishna, Krishna will give us that intelligence at that point of time. And even if we do an offense, and if it is to a great devotee, we should know that that curse is not going to make us go down further. It's only going to take us one step ahead to liberation. That is the case we have seen in every case, like Nalakuvera. Nalakuvera, as the sons of Kuvera, might not have seen Krishna if Narada did not curse them. They would not have seen him at all, because they were wealthy people, and they may not have seen Krishna that face directly too. So sometimes a curse by a great devotee actually makes our spiritual progress faster. Like we might have been pushed down, but since we have practiced and we have that our spiritual practice in this present life, that will guarantee us that Krishna is going to lift us from there. So we don't need to worry. Even if a situation like that comes also, we have protection of Krishna. And those curses of pure devotees or going to help us and make our journey faster to Krishna, but not like any lesser. We have not seen any of them who have been cursed, has lost, and then they could never come back to Krishna. Instead we saw that Krishna personally lifted them up and gave them darshan and took them to the. So and we should not do intentionally mistakes, thinking that, oh, I will get cursed and I'll do. But at the same time, we don't need to worry about that also. And every time we can go and confess to Krishna that, Krishna, I might have done knowingly or unknowingly sins or offenses towards the devotees and Vaishnavas. I may not be knowing. If I know, I'll go and seek their forgiveness on my own. I may not know, so can you please forgive me, Krishna? And if we know, we have to keep aside our ego, everything aside, and go and fall at that feet of the Vaishnava, whatsoever it may be. If that Vaishnava is also a wrong, we don't need to worry about that. That's his responsibility to correct his mistakes. But if we know that we are wrong and we learn that, we have to keep aside our ego, our thing, everything, and then go in front of that Vaishnava, make a dandavat and say that, I am sorry, please forgive me. I did a mistake. I'm conditioned soul. I did a mistake. Please forgive me. This should be there in our. After seeking forgiveness, we can forget. We should try to not repeat that mistake again, and we can be safe, because that is again the story of this one. Who is that? Suddenly, I'm not remembering. Who was cursed by Durvasa? Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj, Durvasa did not get rescue until Ambarish Maharaj forgived him. So Krishna, even we approach Krishna and not say sorry to that Vaishnava, Krishna will not forgive us. So first of all, we have to tell sorry to that Vaishnava, whoever we have offended, and then go and say sorry to Krishna. If we don't know, sometimes we unknowingly offend people, and they also don't share with us that they got offended by us. Then for those kind of things, we can always go. These are like how we do daily affirmations in the beginning of our day before our chanting, that Krishna, make me focus on your lotus feet and make my chanting a quality chanting for the 2 hours. This kind of an affirmation everybody should tell to themselves, and then start the chanting like that at the end of the day also, to our deities in the house. Krishna, with whatever mind I have, I might not have said the mantras properly. I might not have done my kriya properly. I might not have done I might not have any devotion in that. But this is what I could do today, Krishna. Please accept this. Please forgive my offenses, knowingly or unknowingly I have done. Because we do that, we make our deities sleep, right? So at that time, that should be our prayer. That should be our prayer, falling down in front of Krishna. And then we are safe. But all the time we have to, our only strength is our chanting. When we are chanting sincerely, when we are worshipping Guru and Vaishnavas and Krishna, Krishna will give us that intelligence that we will not fall down and we will come to him. Again, this is the promise Krishna does in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Dadami buddhi yoga. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Whoever is worshipping me, I am going to give them intelligence by which they are going to come to me. They are not going to fall down. So Krishna again promises that. So we can hold on to his feet and we can take advantage of that promise, and we can chant sincerely so that we won't do offenses. And then we are saved, we are sacred. And at the same time, if we know that we have done an offense, we have to go and seek forgiveness from that Vaishnava and not repeat that offense. This is what I'm thinking, Prabhu. If you want to add anything, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful references. And also, I know Srila Prabhupada himself was praying to protect himself. So we should follow that. Again, is there, like when we try to pray for our protection, is that some kind of a selfishness there, or is it okay?
No,
because, if we pray.
We have to. It's not selfish, because we want to go back to Krishna. We have to ask Krishna for protection. Who else we ask? There is nobody else, and we are not capable. So that is how we build a relationship with him. That is how we go to him. So, and he says, come to me for anything. Krishna says again in second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, he says, whether you are mokshakami or you are full of material desires, whatever it is, you come to me, Krishna says. Then why we take advantage of that promise and we go to him?
Yes, Mataji. But we also were talking earlier about only doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna, not thinking about ourselves. But we also need to think about our protection also when we go to Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you much.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So about a week ago, I got a text message from somebody I had met about 6-7 months ago. I think there was a day where they send in South India that please forgive me. It's like if I've hurt you. It's a general message to a lot of people. I don't know. There's a day like that in the Hindu calendar. So I was asking her, why would you send me this message? She said, no, I've sent it to many people. She was texted me that we do it. They are Jains. So there's a day like that they send that. So that was once a year. Yeah. But I've also seen, Mataji, that when people ask for forgiveness from another person, sometimes they ask it, say, left-handedly, like, I'm sorry if you felt hurt. They won't say, I'm sorry I did it. They won't say, they won't acknowledge it 100%. They'll say tongue in cheek, like, oh, I'm sorry if you got hurt, I'm sorry. But that's not a real apology, Mataji. The real apology is, I'm sorry, I should not have done it. I apologize. Don't you think so?
I completely agree. There is a big, wonderful lecture on forgiveness. I remember forgiveness it should be sincere, Mataji. It should be very, very sincere that there is no if and but, forgive me if you are hurt or anything. No, there is no. That means you are saying that you are not sure they're hurt or not, or they should not be hurt, but they are hurt, like that. So all those things should not be there. It should be very sincere, very, very sincere. Accordingly, only that will be benefit us, right? Like, you should not act. Krishna is not somebody who gets fall into the act. So it should be really sincere.
Right.
As I said, even the other person is wrong, but we should first seek forgiveness for our wrong. And there is no one else to blame other than us, because we made a choice to react like that. So that was my choice, whether I've done that under the influence of the others, or because others agitated me, or whatsoever I have done that act. So karma never equals saying that, oh, you said 10 words, the other Mataji said 10 words, so it is equal. It is not like that. You said 10 words, you suffer for 10 words, she will suffer for 10 words, like that. So then I better clean my thing, and I'll go and seek forgiveness sincerely. And there are no ifs and buts, or there are no maybe you should not have think like that. I have done that. See, even my intention is good, also we should seek forgiveness, because my intentions are not flowing through my actions. So that's why people misunderstood, or people might have misunderstood because of their previous conditioning or previous experience. So we don't know, but still we should, even when our intentions are pure, if it was conveyed wrongly to the others, we have to apologize and then explain our intentions sincerely. Our sincerity will be seen in the forgiveness that makes them forgive us, and that is good.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If nobody has anything, should we conclude here, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madan Pranam to you, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Very nice discussion and a wonderful class. Like everybody mentions, your classes are always, we have to take out time to hear the class, because, we don't want to miss it. So Mataji, sometime what happens is that, like a person is humble when they are sick or they are in trouble. But when they are okay, then the other nature comes out, like a double personality, We see that very often. And then when we try to convince them that, it's good to be humble all the time, whether we are sick or not sick, that does not work, Mataji, at all. It does not
Yeah,
work. Because
I know.
now they are like, I don't know, you call them multiple personality, or they have enjoying propensity, I don't know what they have in it, that they are so humble when they are sick, or they'll go, hey Krishna, ye wo. And then when thing is out, when everything is good and about, then you see them, they are different people altogether. They lead their own life, they want to enjoy. So when we are connected to such people in our family, and we see these changes in them, and it's kind of, we feel bad about it, because we feel that they are connected to Krishna when they are, like, they're using Krishna, in the sense that in their bad times, they humble themselves and they say, oh Krishna, like that they do. But other times they don't even remember Krishna.
Yeah, but that's okay because Krishna says that's okay for me. Krishna says in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, like,
Yeah.
people come to me when they are in distress. I still call them as Mahatmas, Krishna says. So because Krishna is allowing that, we should be okay that at least in the time of crisis, they are going to Krishna, because there are so many people who doesn't go to Krishna in the time of crisis. Then they take shelter of all kinds of other things like alcohol or something or the other. So if people are approaching Krishna in the time of crisis, Krishna himself says in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that 4 kinds of people come to me, and one of them is the distress. Somebody is in distress. So if Krishna is allowing and calling them as Mahatmas, then we should be like, okay, at least we should be happy. We should not be judging them any further and say that that's okay. At least they're approaching Krishna. One in this lifetime, maybe in future lifetimes they may completely purify, because the conditioning is very deep, Mataji. The material conditionings which is coming from so many lifetimes, that does not change in just one word or one thing. You need lot of sadhana shakti to change it. So it takes time, and then when it takes time, we should not judge anybody, because we may have our own conditions which we do not know. So when we judge them, then we will do an offense, because Krishna allows them, saying that, okay, in 7.16, Krishna says, those who are in distress comes to me. So that is still good in that way. But when we know that their humbleness goes away as as they become better, then we have to save ourselves from them, because we may commit an offense by looking at their agitation. We may also get agitated and all. So we have to. Now they have come out of their their humble mode. So let's be very careful with them. So that's how we should escape from them, so that we don't do more offenses.
Yes.
That's our boundary. If we go further and dwell and judge them and keep doing things, then we might be doing more offenses. So we just have to save ourselves from all those things.
You have to be watchful, which mode they are working.
Yeah, and then accordingly we save ourselves, and then just say one Hare Krishna and move on. That's it.
Like Prabhuji was saying, to protect ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to
So
always.
Mataji, yeah, thank you so much for mentioning about the 4 kinds of people come to Krishna. I have not been able to understand very clearly about the 2 people. One, I understand in distress, because we also take shelter of Krishna. And then one is a want of money, right? The other 2, somehow I've always read, never pondered on it. And one is who take, can you explain a little bit, since you answered my answer and it's in the forum of class
See,
only.
the other
Yeah,
is
can you
inquisitive. The third one is inquisitive. They are like, there are few people who are inquisitive. They are not interested in Krishna or spirituality or anything. They just want to know everything. Like, you find some people like that. They will know about everything. Like, whatever they come across, they are interested in that. So they go to Krishna. They want to know about him. That's it. Not because they love him. They are just inquisitive about him. So they just go. And the other people are jnanis. Like, some may be searching in search of absolute truth, and then they want to go towards him. So these are the 4 people. So some are just inquisitive. They are just inquisitive. They are not having any devotion or love or anything. They just want to know everything. Like, after they know, they are not interested anymore. They'll go away from there. That's
So
it.
Krishna is most interested in the people who are jnani, right? I mean,
In that verse, he says that. Further, he goes down and he says that devotion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Jnani means who want to know about Krishna.
Yeah,
Like,
but Krishna calls all these people as like Sukritino. They're all good people, Krishna says. Pious people. All these four are pious, Krishna says.
okay.
Krishna, all four are pious. So even those who are going for him in distress are also pious, Krishna says, because they are at least coming to Krishna. So,
Okay. So Krishna is taking them all like good, but
yeah.
the best is the Jnani. And so inquisitiveness will be like the initial stage of devotion. You're inquisitive.
Not in devotion. They just want to know about Krishna. That's it. They want to know, like, who is this? What is history about him? What did he do?
And,
After they know all the details, they'll stop.
okay. And the Jnani are the ones who already are, they have the knowledge and about Krishna, and now they are doing devotional service.
Yeah.
Jnani,
So
that.
of these, Krishna continues in 17 saying, like, out of all these, who is in full knowledge of me and who does devotional service to me? That's what Krishna says. Like,
Okay.
he does
That's
not
connected to
stop
Jnani.
there. He says that Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta. He immediately says that he knows about Krishna everything. Jnana Yoga is after they know about Krishna, if they stop there, they don't go into devotion. But generally, when we know about everything about Krishna, how magnanimous Krishna is, how loving Krishna is, sweet Krishna is, how we are dependent on Krishna, immediately it should transform into devotional service to him. So Krishna immediately says in 7.17 that Tesham Gnani Nitya Yukta, if I remember, Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate, Priyo hi Gnanino Yartham. There is something aham cha same priyaha. So that person is very dear to me, Krishna says, like who is always engaged in pure devotional service, who is in full knowledge of me. That means this person is not sentimentally going to Krishna. Now he knows everything about Krishna. After knowing everything about Krishna, he's developed that love and he's going to Krishna. So that's what it is.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. And also, one more thing connected to this question only is, like, sometimes we have people who are very influential. So, for example, if they're with their devotees, they are like, they become devotees. But then suppose they're with non-devotees, that also comes on them very fast. So, like, in the sense that if we have a nature like that, if some people have a nature, because sometimes I tend to do some nature reading, of people, like read the psychology and things like that. So such kind of people, is it I mean, both ways they're pulling. With the bhakti, they'll be very devotional. When it comes to karmi people, then they will connect there only.
So that's when we have to know what is the one we want to take seriously, and then we only have to associate with them. Because if we are not serious about devotion, that's when we go and do Bhogaishwarya Prasaktanam 2.44. I think Krishna says, like, you cannot put your leg on two boats. Like, if we are inclined to have Bhoga and Aishwarya, if we are interested in Bhoga and Aishwarya, even though we are such kind of a person, we will do devotion when we are associated with devotees, we won't get that undeviated attention or towards devotion. So if we are serious about Krishna consciousness, then we should reduce the association with the other karmis and all. And then we have to focus our attention more and more on devotees and doing the things.
Yeah. So being very influential easily is also hampering to our devotional service. That's what you're saying.
Yes, because
that's answer. Okay.
Because you get distracted very quickly, right? Like.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Sorry if I took extra time. You were about to leave the call, but I just had few things to ask. And you clarified completely. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. We can conclude the session here, Mataji. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Bol. Hare Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Mataji, for this next class. Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Shamarasika Mataji, please bless me. I'm going to Jagannath Puri
Hari bol.
tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mataji. So I'll not be there for 10 days.
Hari
I'll
bol.
join up. Hare Krishna.
I will pray for you, Prabhuji, and please
Thank,
keep us in your prayers.
of course, of course. Yes, ma'am.
Hari bol.
Thank you so much,
Have a
Mataji.
safe
Hare
trip,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.